Start with a bit of a cold start. It's like 37 degrees and it's been like 3 weeks since the old cheap Jeep's been started. So I guess we'll give it, see what happens, run her into town maybe, if it'll start. See what the old girl does. Look at there. Ain't bad for an old beater, is it? Alright, we'll move on from here later. I'm really surprised if the old Jeep hadn't started, but you know, you never know, I guess. Little quick update. Fender is now solid. You can see I got a little primer on there still drying. Kind of look at that, and I think maybe I ought to just paint the darn thing satin black or something and change its looks. I don't know. Might be something that I think about here one day. The next project is, I think I'm going to pull this fender off. I've got a little hole that used to be a bolt hole a long time ago. It's not used anymore. I think I'm going to weld that in, finish that out. And while it's off, on the fiberglass fender, which is the only fiberglass on the whole car, I've got a hole where the headlights used to be. And when I put the motor in it, I set the motor in at lower than what the original guy did because I didn't want the transmission in the, or a tunnel inside the car. They're just too small and I wanted the extra room. Well, and I did that. The headlights moved forward a little bit, so I think while that's off, I'm going to go ahead and fix that. And then we'll probably take a look at a couple other things. I don't know. I kind of keep looking at the semi-gloss of the drying primer, which this is the bad part about doing work this time of year. It just, you wait forever on shit to dry. Something that'd take you a day in the summer will take you 3 in the winter. But I don't know, maybe I ought to hit this with like an acrylic single stage and it'll kind of keep its 70s look, be sealed up and a little better off. I'm gonna have to think about that one. But I guess I'll get back with you and see what happens next. Off. Yeah, just in case anybody ever has the idea of running a independent front suspension with the cast A arms and no fenders, don't do it. It's ugly. But fenders off. Come over here. You can see the hole. You can actually see where I added metal to this when I started putting this car together. This fender had just been rough cut all the way down through there and didn't follow the frame at all. So I added metal right there, and then let me flip this over. What I did was I welded a piece of round bar all the way down this edge and then glassed that lip in there to make that look a little bit cleaner. And I kind of liked it. I did the same thing here on the running boards. On the running boards, none of this was here. All of this would have been cut like clear down in here. So I made all of this, and again, it's round bar and a little bit of glass in there to make that look right. But hang on here a minute. Let me flip this over and I'll show you a couple. The old girl's 90 some years, or 90 years on the earth. She's been wrecked a few times. I don't know how well it shows right here, but you can see where somebody somewhere in history has heated all of this up and beat it back into place. And I found several spots, you know, on the fenders. The cowl, I found a couple spots. Just kind of, I think the back even, I found a spot or two where that had happened. But yeah, it's kind of interesting when you work on these cars. You see some of the history of them. What's going to happen here, I think, is I'm going to clean this hole up on both sides, grind it out, and then I think I'm just going to weld it in and clean it up on the other side, kind of like I did. You can kind of see that hole right there where I filled it in, and then I guess there's a couple there where I actually put some sheet metal in them. I might end up doing that down there too. But you can kind of see where, you know, she's been changed and modified several times by a couple different owners. But let me clean this up and then I'll bring you back and show you what I got going on. Here's where I'm at right now. I made a little piece of metal that fits pretty darn close in the hole. By the way, if you're looking for an ultimate body work metal worker that never uses any Bondo, wrong channel. I'd like to tell you I am, but I ain't. But right now, we got a piece of metal cut that fits pretty well in the hole. So the next step is going to be to weld it in, and then we'll polish it out, and we'll refinish the fender out. So stick around. All right, weld it in. We'll hit it with a flat disc real quick. Probably put a little filler over the top of it, and then I'll probably let it set since the metal's pretty cold. And I'll come back tomorrow and start sanding and working on it. And then I'll need to run to town and get a little fiberglass resin for that other fender. So this is probably where I'll leave you for today. I hope you all have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Guys, it's 12:15 on Super Bowl Sunday. I have to be at my daughter's house tonight for the big game with my Nerf gun in hand, just in case the 49ers pull this off. But we're going to see what we can get done today. We got the fender over here. It's welded, got some filler on it. We'll get it sanded down. Maybe I'll get it in primer. But before I get started on that, this hole in the fender, the bigger one there, I'm going to get ground out and get some fiberglass and resin mixed up and get it filled in. So I guess we'll see what we get done. And okay guys, there's the fender, there's where the hole was. It's pretty well finished out, not looking too terrible. We'll scuff her down one more time, probably put a little layer of primer in it just to finish out the sand marks. Probably do that tomorrow. This fender is glassed in, even though I'm pretty certain that my third grade art teacher gave me a D- on my neatness there. But I'd kind of like to sand that today, but I think just to make myself feel better, I'm going to probably do it tomorrow after work. And hope you all have a good day. Have a good rest of your week, and I will see you later.